Welcome back to the channel, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So let me just set the premise of this particular video. This video is from our SDET masterclass, and a lot of people were asking me, Jatin, can you just start a course on Playwright with JavaScript? So the thing over here is, in the SDET masterclass, we have introduced JavaScript, TypeScript, and Playwright. So it is one of the most exhausted course now, guys. I think more than 350 hours is out over there, and it is technically going to take you on a journey from learning the entire programming language, learning very important design patterns, building the entire enterprise level framework from the scratch. Now, whatever the projects that you do with me goes back in your resume, so you have real references to talk about in your interviews. And you might have seen all the success stories of the students that we post over here, and these are all legit success stories that students have been able to achieve 100% salary hike. Now, the thing over here is, instead of just telling you that, hey, I've started this JavaScript Playwright masterclass, I thought it's better that you study some of the important topics with me. So in this particular video, guys, we will be focusing on learning arrays. Okay, now the entire arrays topic that I have taught in this lecture is technically going to help you compare the Java array with the JavaScript array. Along with that, we will focus on important methods which are there in your JavaScript array. So I hope this particular lecture is helpful for you guys. Please spend enough time watching this particular stuff. If you are interested to join the SDET Masterclass, the link is going to be in the description section. So without wasting time, let's get started. Welcome back to the class, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So in today's class, we will be talking on the topic of array. Now, we have seen arrays in Java. We have seen the theoretical part. We have also used it in our programs. We have done the logic building with a lot of array questions, right? So most of you guys are aware of how arrays work in Java. Now we need to do the same thing. We need to try to understand how arrays work in your JavaScript. Okay. Now, I have created the notes for this particular lecture, and I have kept it in the download section or the attachment section. You're going to find this particular notes. Please make sure that you download that particular file, take a printout of it, because it's going to be very, very useful for you guys. All right. Now, let's get started with today's class. Now, guys, what we will be doing now, we will be comparing the Java array with the JavaScript array, because that's the best way to learn this particular topic. Now, most of you guys will be thinking, array Jatin, array concept should remain same only, na? Because array is more like a data structure. Okay. If I ask you what is the definition of an array, or how would you explain array, what you're going to say? Array is basically a data structure which is technically going to store similar kind of values. All these values are stored next to each other, meaning in a continuous or contiguous memory. And we can access these values on the basis of index. Right? This was the definition that I have taught you in the Java module. But in JavaScript, now, this particular array works a little bit differently. Okay, that's the reason it is really important for us that we understand, okay, the difference between the Java array and the JavaScript array, because once you understand it, I can give you in writing that you will never get stuck on this particular topic ever again. Perfect. Now, over here, guys, the first thing is the definition of an array. Now, when we are talking about your Java array, right? Array is basically a data structure that allows similar kind of values in it. All the values will be stored in a consecutive memory location, right? So let's say I am creating an array over here, integer a square bracket equal to new int of 3. Now this 3 that what we are seeing over here, this 3 is basically the size of the array, right? The moment you say this, arrays are going to be created inside which memory space? The new keyword talks about that. New keyword says that we are going to create the array in the heap memory. So this is my array in the heap memory. Okay, and whenever you are creating any variable, okay, in the heap memory, it will be initialized with the default value. What is the default value of integer? 0. So you will get 3 consecutive memories, one after each other. Each is going to store integer kind of value, and all these variables, all these memory locations will be initialized with 0, because the default value of integer is 0, and the indexing is going to be there 0, 1, 2. Indexing always starts with 0. Acha, this is my array. I hope everyone remembers that. This is my array. What is A then? A becomes your reference variable. A becomes your reference variable. So just for your recap over here, I have given some of the syntaxes on how we used to create an array. So over here, we have saying integer square bracket. You can put square bracket before or you can put square bracket later. It doesn't really matter, but square bracket needs to be there. Numbers. Numbers is your reference variable. New int of 5. So this is my array which will be created in the heap memory. Are you getting the point over here? And we will be getting how many memory locations? We will be getting 5 memory locations. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 memory location. And all these memory locations will be initialized with the default value 0, 0, 0. Okay. This is one way of creating the array. The second way of creating the array was directly by giving the pre-filled value. So over here, 78, 84, 91, 66, 72. These are all integer values. Now, this is what we used to do in Java. Okay. So over here, guys, what will happen? 78 is going to go on the 0th index. This is on the first. This is on second. This is on third. This is on fourth. Right? So the size is again 5 over here. Next, if you want to create a string array, it would look something like this. So Asha is going to be on the 0th index. Ravi is going to be on the first index. And then you can also have two-dimensional array. Whenever you're talking about the two-dimensional array, the first square bracket, what you see over here, is always going to talk about the row. The next one is going to talk about the column. Right? So in Java, whenever we spoke on the topic of array, we said that the size of the array is going to be fixed. Once I say that I'm going to have an array of size 5, can I increase the size of the array? No, I cannot do that. Okay, can I decrease the size of the array? No, I cannot do that. 5 memory location has been given to us. That has been reserved for that particular array. But what if I want to have an array which is dynamic in size? What do you mean by dynamic in size? That I can increase the size of the array as well as decrease the size of the array if I want to do that. Then how did we do that in Java? We used list. Collections has list, na? And list technically has your array list, linked list and vector. Alright? So over here, guys, this is something that you need to remember, that array is going to have fixed size. Allocated ones, you cannot grow, you cannot increase or decrease the size. Homogeneous, all the elements that are going to be stored in that particular array is going to be of a single type. Over here, guys, for the marks array, I am only storing integer value. For your names array, I am only storing your string value. So your Java array is basically homogeneous in nature. This is important. Remember this particular point. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking, why we are discussing this thing. Give me some time. Okay, this particular topic is going to be a very slow burner topic. But once it starts to cook, you're going to start feeling that, you're going to start getting that smell. Okay, you know, like cooking biryani takes a lot of time, right? So that's what this particular topic is. But once you understand how your Java array and JavaScript array are different, you will just learn it in one go. Okay. Now, over here, homogeneous elements in your Java, I can only store homogeneous elements in the array. But in collections, we can definitely change it because you are having generics. If you don't pass the generics over there in your array list, what is going to happen over there? Yes, I can store any kind of a value. I hope you guys remember. Now, some of you guys, I know what you guys do. You guys don't study Java properly and then tell ki Baba Jatin, I'm studying JavaScript. Fundamentals of Java itself is shaken and then they want to study JavaScript. So over here, guys, see, whenever you are creating an array list is a class. Okay. So this is a class. What you do of a class, you create a reference variable and then you're going to create an object. Now, generally, whenever you are creating an array list, you are supposed to pass something like this. What is this? This is generics. What is the purpose of generics? Why do you need to use generics? Okay, what problem generics solve? Generics basically solve the problem of type safety. Okay, if I want to make sure that my list is storing only a particular kind of a value, then I can do that with the help of generic. But if you're not going to pass generic or you're going to put over your object, then in my array list, I can store 10. I can store a name. Okay, I can store a Boolean value, anything I can store. So in your list, okay, you can store heterogeneous values. You can do that in Java. But that is only going to happen in collections, not in your array. Are you getting the point over here? Now, whether you're talking about collections, whether you're talking about an array are technically going to be created in the heap memory. So this data, whatever you see, they are going to be stored in the heap memory. Same goes for your collection also. Because whenever you're creating a collection, new array list, new basically is a word which is associated with heap memory. Okay. So the moment new comes into picture, you're still talking about heap memory. Always initialize with a default value. This everyone knows now. Bound checked. Out of range index is going to be thrown. Okay. Array index out of bound exception is going to come into picture. Okay. And that is going to happen at runtime. So over here, if you notice that the numbers array has a size 5, right? So the index is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. This is what we will be having. And it is going to, let's assume, have some data inside it. Okay. But let's say I put over here number square bracket of 5. Do we have a fifth index? This chap is not there. Do we have a fifth index? No, we don't have a fifth index. So if you are trying to access something which is not there in the array, okay, an index which is not there in the array, in Java, you will be getting array index out of bound exception. Makes sense to everyone? Perfect. So this is about the Java array. This is what we have seen over there. Okay. This is the same example that we have written over here also. That over here, if I want to access a particular value, I will be giving index marks square bracket 0. This is on the 0th index, 78 on the 0th index. So over here, I will get 78 printed. Marks dot length is going to be 3. But if I say marks 5 equal to 1, I'm trying to initialize the fifth index with 1. I don't have a fifth index over here. The index is only 0, 1, 2. It's fixed size. It cannot be changed. I'm going to get array index out of bound exception. This is going to happen runtime when you run the particular program. So if you are going to work with a fixed size, okay, if you are going to only work with a fixed set of data, you can use array. Okay. If you want to add or remove elements, you want the resizable stuff happening over there, you need to go for array list. Okay. And if you want to work with heterogeneous data, then you're going to use something like list of object or don't even pass a generic. It is going to work. Are you getting the point? So this is what was there in Java. JavaScript says, shake bad array. Okay. I don't like how the array is created in Java. I want to make it way better. So it looked at array list. Okay. JavaScript developers looked at the array list features. Like, array list looks pretty good, man. You know, resizable array. Okay. I can add elements. I can remove elements. It also has a lot of functionalities, right? Your collections gives us methods also using which I can perform operations on that particular data structure, right? So JavaScript guys also did something similar. But instead of creating an array list, what they did is they said ki baba everyone is using array only na. So we will make some changes in the array part. So when we are talking about JavaScript array, now listen to this particular stuff very carefully. Okay, when we are talking about JavaScript array, a JavaScript array is an ordered collection of values that can grow, shrink, and hold a mixed type of values. Read this one line only. A JavaScript array is an ordered collection of values, meaning indexing is there, that can grow in size. I can add more elements. I can also remove the elements. I can shrink the size and can hold mixed type of values. Meaning in JavaScript, the array is homogeneous or heterogeneous. Homogeneous means it can only store same kind of values. What is happening in Java array? That once I say that I'm going to create an array of integer, I can only store integer kind of values. But in your JavaScript array, I can store mixed kind of values. So the thing over here is JavaScript array is heterogeneous in nature. Okay. The same array can hold string, number, boolean, and object all at the same time. Okay. This is fundamental. That's the reason I thought it is better to first talk about Java array, because once you revisit the Java array, you then can easily understand how the JavaScript array is different. There are 4 different ways using which you can create an array in your JavaScript. The first one over here is the normal way. I'm giving the values directly. This is exactly similar to how you are doing it in Java. Here you are giving the values directly, na? 78, 84, 91. 78, 84, 91, 66, 72. Okay. Like some of you guys will think, Arey Jatin, should the variable be always const? No, you can make let also. Okay. You can make let also. Okay. Then you can create an empty array. You can create an empty array. Now some of you guys will think that, Jatin, why to create an empty array? Because in JavaScript, the array size can change. Once the array has been created, I can still add the values inside it. So I can have an empty array. I can run my program. After some time, I can decide if I want to add a value inside my array or not. So I can have an empty array and I can grow it later. I can create an array with the help of the array constructor, new array 5. So over here, you are telling ki Baba, the length of this particular array is going to be 5. Length is 5. Then array of 5. Okay. Here you are telling ki Baba, create an array, and in that particular array, the element 5 needs to be there. Okay. When you say new array 5, the new array 5, here you are telling the length of the array is going to be 5. The length of the array is going to be 5. It's similar to this chap. Okay. This is what? New array 5 closely resembles to. But when I say array of 5, I am saying ki Baba, I am going to have an array, and in that array, I am going to have an element which is going to be 5. Which is going to be 5, this one, sorry. Okay. The next one is going to be array from hello. So there is a from method, hello. Now what this is going to do now, firstly this from method is only going to work on string. Remember that for now. We will of course practice it, don't worry on those things. But I am just making you guys get comfortable with the whole code first. Okay, that this is how it looks. Array dot from. From is going to only work on string. So when I say hello, what is going to happen? An array is going to be created and all the letters, all the characters, one by one will be stored in that particular array on the respective index. So H is going to be on the 0th index, E is going to be on 1, L is going to be on 1, L is going to be on, sorry, this is going to be on 2, this is going to be on 3, this is going to be on 4. Are you getting the point? So H is going to be on the 0th index, E is going to be on the first index, L is going to be on the second index, L is going to be on the third, and O is going to be on the fourth index. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Perfect. Now, before I go ahead, I want you guys to just pause this particular video. You guys have the notes. Read the entire stuff properly. Okay, you have 2 pages now. Read it properly. I hope you have gone through this particular stuff. Can I go ahead? Is everyone clear with this particular part? If not, just go to the discussion section, comment section, post your queries over there. Okay. Now, one more thing. This is important, guys. This is what the heterogeneous nature is. Look carefully. Here, I am creating an array. This is an array. If this is an array, what is profile? Profile is your reference variable. In this particular array, I am storing a string value. What is 32? Integer? No re baba. What is 32? Tell properly. It is number. What is true? Boolean. What is role? Colon SDET. Object. What is this? An array. Okay. I am storing all these things inside another array. Okay. So this is the heterogeneous nature of your JavaScript array. So when I'm going to say profile square bracket 0, I'm going to get Jatin, which is a string value. When I say profile 3, okay, profile third index, this is 0 index, first, second, third. We are getting an object dot role. I'm going to get the value as that. Then I say profile square bracket 4. This is the fourth index. Okay, here I'm having an array itself. So I'm going to get that array, and in that array, I am going to access the first index. So the output is going to be 20 over here. Okay. Profile.length, what is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length is going to be 5. Perfect. Now the thing over here is, ki baba, I can add new elements in this particular array. So how do you add new elements? Push method. Push method is the one using which I can add a new element. So when you say that you're going to add, or let's say push inside this particular array, where it is going to be pushed? It is going to be pushed, okay, at the end. So what is going to happen? There is going to be a comma, new, which is going to be a string value. This is how it's going to be looking, and it is going to be on the 5th index. Okay. So the length over here is now going to be 6. With the same thing you wanted to do it in Java, Baba, you would have created Pojo classes, you had to work with collections and all those things. JavaScript said, ki, Baba, I'm going to take care of those things easy. Getting the point? Remember, A JavaScript array can hold any mixed type of values at the same time. Heterogeneous. Length is automatic. You don't need to declare it upfront. Index starts from 0, same as Java. All right. I want you guys to observe this particular example one more time at your end. Okay. Just look at the methods. Okay. Look at how I'm accessing the various elements, the various values. Okay. And then we will continue further. Now, what are the key characteristics of the JavaScript array? Now we know the Java array. In Java array, the size is fixed. Over here, the size is dynamic. Okay. Grows with push. You can reduce the size with the help of pop method. Okay. No manual reallocation required. So if you want to remove some element, you can use the pop method. Heterogeneous in nature. Now everyone knows what exactly heterogeneous is. You can store string, number, boolean, object, function, array all together. Okay. Everything can be stored inside an array. Object under the hood. This is a very important point. Please remember this thing. An array in JavaScript. An array in JavaScript is just an object with numeric key plus a length property. The type of an array in your JavaScript is an object. So is it a data structure that we have? Technically, it is just storing the data and all, right? It's just storing it in some way. But it is still an object. Okay? It is still an object. So when you do type of an array in JavaScript, it is not going to tell that it is an array. It is going to tell it is an object. Remember this particular stuff. This point is really important. Okay. Silent out of range. What do you mean by silent out of range? This is important. In Java, when I was trying to access an index which was not there in the array, I was getting array index out of bound exception when I was running the program, right? Whenever you were running the program, you were getting this array index out of bound exception. JavaScript says, "Ki baba, I am not going to give all those exceptions. I'm not going to give you that array index out of bound exceptions and all those things." If you try to access an index which does not exist, it is going to give you undefined. Make a note of this particular point. This is important. It is going to give you undefined instead of throwing an error. Okay. So you're not going to get that array index out of bound exception and all those things for an invalid index. It is just going to give you undefined. Okay. Now, when this JavaScript array was getting created, they looked at our collections had a lot of inbuilt methods using which I can actually operate on the data properly and in a much more convenient way. Okay. So what they did is they provided a lot of methods. Okay. Like map, filter, reduce, find, sum, every, flat, and many more. There are I believe 20-25 methods which are there in your array. Okay. We will definitely look at some of the important JavaScript array methods, but it has a huge list of methods, and using those methods, you can perform operations on the data, okay, which is there in that array. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. So these are basically the important characteristics of the JavaScript arrays that you should be aware of. See, in interview, they can ask you this particular question that why array in JavaScript is an object, or why the type of an array is an object. See guys, what happened now? That in JavaScript, array is technically not implemented as the whole data structure that you have seen in Java and all. It works in a bit different way. It is treated as an object only. It is a big object which is there. Okay. And this particular object, right, basically stores the data in key value format. So over here, it is an array which is technically a special big object that is going to have numeric string keys. Okay, so the indexes which you see 0, 1, 2 and all, these are all string, okay, in the internal working. And it also has one dot length property. Okay, the length property is there that is going to get updated automatically. Now, just to show you, this is how it looks over here. So when you say ki Baba, I am going to create an array 10, 20, 30. Okay, our mind automatically starts creating something like this 0, 1, 2, 10, 20, 30. And you still keep it like this because visually we want to understand array like this only. Okay, that we are going to have continuous memory and all those things. But internally in JavaScript, we are going to have an object. This is how you create an object, na? In JavaScript, you create an object like this. Over here, 0, which is in double quote, is the key. And what is the value? 10. 1 is the key. What is the value? 20. 2 is the key. What is the value? 30. So the indexes are basically the key. The values 10, 20, 30 are technically treated as the value. It also has one property, the length property. Okay. So you can do array.length and it is going to fetch it from here. And this particular value technically gets updated automatically because we can add more and more keys over here. Are you getting the point over here? So over here, if I'm going to do array square bracket of 0 in double quotes, you're going to get 10. And notice the index over here is not numeric. I can put in double quotes also. I can give a string value over here and I can still get the value 10. Okay. Type of array. If you're going to do type of array, you're going to get object. You're going to get object. Okay. So how to check whether the object that we have is an array or not? So whenever you want to check whether a particular object is an array, you're going to use the array class and use the isArray method. IsArray method and just pass the reference. It's going to give me true or errors. If you want to access all the indexes, you can use object.keys and give the indexes. That's it. 0, 1, 2. Are you getting the point? I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Okay. So just look at this particular stuff quickly. Okay. I hope this particular part is clear. The type of returns object because all the arrays are objects. And whenever you want to check whether an object is an array or not, you are going to use the isArray method, which is a part of array class. And you're not supposed to use type of. Okay. Numeric keys, okay, are technically going to be stored as string internally. I hope this part makes sense to everyone now. Okay. Now, again, there is this table that I've created just for you guys. Okay, for the comparison between Java array and JavaScript array. We'll just quickly go through this particular stuff. Now, over here, in Java, size is fixed. In JavaScript, dynamic growth array is going to be there. You know, like I can grow and shrink the array. And how you're going to grow it? You are going to use push method. And how you're going to remove an element? You're going to use the pop method. Java array is homogeneous. I hope everyone understand that part now. JavaScript is heterogeneous. It can store any kind of value. Memory, contiguous block of heap memory. But in JavaScript array, you are going to have object like, okay, and it is going to be packed or dictionary. Don't worry about this particular technical term. We'll see it in future. But just remember that it is going to be an object in the memory. Are you getting the point? It is not going to be a contiguous memory block over there. And where it is going to be created? It is going to be created in the heap memory only. Okay. Bound check. If I'm going to pass an invalid index, I'm going to get array index out of bound exception in Java. But in JavaScript, I am going to get undefined value because that value is not defined over here. Na? If I put over here that I want to access, let's say ARR of -1. Do you see -1 over here? No. So that key is undefined. That's the reason you get undefined over here. All right. Now, the default, it is going to be 0, false, null, whatever based on the type you're giving over there. But in JavaScript, it is going to be empty slot and it is going to be read as undefined. Because whenever you're going to have any variable, if you're not initializing it but with any data, it is going to be undefined over there in JavaScript. Resize. You are supposed to create a new array, copy, replace or change the references. All those things you are supposed to do in Java array. But over here, it is going to happen automatically. Okay. Over here, it is something which is written amortized. What do you mean by amortized? It basically means that the performance of adding new elements is going to be O of 1. Amortized basically means the average response is going to be O of 1, which is going to be constant. Average, okay, is what amortized means. Java array, we have less inbuilt functionality. JavaScript has a lot of inbuilt functionality. That is what we will be seeing in the next class. And Java array, technically, you can use it for your storing fixed data, your test data, and all those things. JavaScript, you're going to use for API data, for your fixtures, and all those things, which we will be seeing in Playwright in coming days. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, and this was actually the whole theory part of your array. Okay, and what we will be doing, we'll pause this particular lecture for over here today. Okay. In the next class, we'll just do a little bit of hands-on together, okay? And how I want you guys to come for the next class. Now, you just make sure that you go through these first 5 pages. Just read it because in the next class, anyways, we'll do a little bit of hands-on and all these things, whatever I just explained in this particular document, it will be clear to you. In the future stuff, right, it is just on how exactly the data is going to be stored over there. And what are the different methods that you should be aware of. So those things we'll be seeing in the upcoming lectures. All right. So that's it for this particular class. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this particular part is clear to everyone. Do let me know in the discussion section, okay, whether you understood this particular topic or not. Don't forget to mark your attendance. Now I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the class, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So in the last class, I believe we have done on the theory part of the JavaScript array, and I hope you guys have understood the theoretical part. Okay. Last time I just went through the entire document explaining you all the stuff and all, right? How exactly the JavaScript array is different from your Java array. So I hope these things are pretty much clear to you guys, or at least you are aware of these things a little bit now. Because in today's class, what we will be doing now, we will do a little bit of hands-on. Okay. So what I want you guys to do now, I want you guys to practice this particular stuff along with me. So what you do is you go to the SDET with Jatin folder. I hope you guys have created it on your desktop. Please make sure that you have created this particular folder only on your desktop. Because what happens is now, if you try to do it somewhere else, then the entire path where I am performing the stuff and you guys are doing is going to be a little bit different. So we want to make sure that we do on a similar level so that the issues also that you face are kind of same that what I have been facing at my screen. Anyways, so I hope you have this SDET with Jatin folder and we have this JavaScript masterclass folder. Na? And if I go inside this JavaScript masterclass folder, I see all these things, conditional statement, data types, demo and groups and all. So we want to open this particular folder in VS Code. How to do that? Just right click over here and open with code. Boom. Done. And we are back here. Now I just close these tabs for a moment and we have these other folders that we have. I want you guys to create a folder which is the array folder. Can you do that? Right click over here. Okay. And you're going to create a new folder. And I'm going to call this as array 101. Something like that. Okay. Now inside this array 101, I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to call this as demo.js as usual. Now, let's get started. I'll have to use the notes also for, like this particular session. The first thing is, when we are talking about array in JavaScript, what are they? Are they going to store the data in a continuous memory? No. It is an object. This is the most important thing. See, the usage wise, okay, like because we have studied the array in Java, we know that array is going to be created in a continuous memory and it is going to have indexing and all. JavaScript also provides the same stuff. It says that, okay, I'm going to give you the indexing. I am going to make sure that you will be able to increase the size of the array as well as decrease the size of the array. Okay, just like how you do it in your list, in your collections. But it is not going to be a data structure for us. It's going to be a major object. Okay. So remember this particular stuff, that array in JavaScript is an object. Okay. This part is important. Yes, the data is going to be stored in the heap memory because it's a non-primitive data type. Okay. And wherever you're talking about an object, objects are always going to be stored in the heap memory. So we have the heap memory coming into picture. The same thing what you have seen in your Java. So how we are going to create an array? Okay, in JavaScript, we are going to create an array like this. Let name. Okay, let names. Now, this chap, what you see over here, it looks like a variable name, na? Looks like a variable name. But this variable, because we will be having an array over here, this names is actually a reference variable. Are you getting the point? This is a reference variable. So, the reference variable point to the array. Okay. So, over here, I'm just going to put an equal to sign and I can give the data. I can give 10 names. So, I can give names over here, let's say as a Jatin. Always use backward tilde over here, guys. Of course, I can have something like this also where I can give double quotes and all. But get used to of using backward tilde, because when you're using backward tilde, you can use the placeholders also. That's the thing that you remember. So I have Jatin. Then we will be having, let's say, Raj. And we can have, let's say, Ritik. That's okay. So congratulations, you have created an array. Okay. Now we can just do console.log names. If I save this, if I'm going to click on the play button, you will see the data which is getting printed on our console. Okay. Now, because if I'm going to bring my cursor over here, names is technically a string array. Okay. So it's looking at the data what you're storing over here on a string value. So names, which is a reference variable, is technically pointing to a string array. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Now, of course, I can play with indexing. I can give names square bracket 0. I'm going to click on the play button. I see Jatin popping up over here. I can copy this and I can give other stuff. This is going to be the first index. This is going to be the second index, 0, 1, 2. Let's create the stack over here and I'm going to click on the play button. Jatin, Raj, Ritu getting printed over here. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. We can also have the for loop. I have taught you the for loop wala concept now. Okay. Let's do the for looping also over here. So for loop for traversing the array. Let's first go with the basic for loop that we have seen in Java. Okay. We also have the same stuff in JavaScript also, na? So you're going to create for let index equal to 0.
Okay, because the indexing starts from 0. And index is going to be less than what? Names. Since it's storing an array, array technically has a property which is the length property, right? So this is going to be names dot length minus 1 is not required because we are going less than, and we're going to say index plus plus. Now the thing over here is I'm using let variable, don't use var, repeating it again. And then I can say console.log names square bracket index. I can save this, and I can really just remove this chap, and I can click on the update button. You get the same output. Okay, it's just that now we are using leaps. Clear to everyone? Perfect. Now, one more thing, guys. We also saw, what do you call, the different types of loops. We saw the for each, okay, the for, the for in, right? Let's play with that also for a moment. So I'm just gonna say this hyphen dot repeat 20 times. The reason I'm using this hyphen dot repeats 20 now, if I'm just gonna clear this and I'm gonna click on the play button, we'll get this line. Okay, that's what. Now I'm gonna say for, this is what? Names. Okay. So we're not gonna put a colon over here. I'm gonna say for. Okay, for of, sorry. And I can have a variable over here, let's say called x. Okay, and I can simply do console.log x. Okay. So if I'm just going to click on the play button, you will notice that when you're using off, you get the values. Okay. This is kind of similar to how you write in your Java. So let's say I'm going to create a string name colon names, right? So one by one from the names array, I'm going to get the variable or the value, and I'm going to print it off over here. So this is the closest what you can relate to this chap over here, off. Okay. But then we have something which is the in, right? For in we have. So I can give that also dot feed 30, and I can say for let's say z in names, and I can say console.log z. What is going to happen when you're using in? What is going to happen when you're going to use in? In, it always gives the key. Always give the key. So if I'm going to click on the play button, okay, and over here, after Ritu, right, this is where we were printing the values using the for of. This is the for in. So for in is giving me the keys. Okay. Now, why it is working this way? Okay. In does not gives me the data. Okay. From the array concept, it is giving me the indexing. Why? Because your array in your memory is stored as an object. So it looks something like this. The same stuff is going to look something like this over here. You are going to have the 0th index, which is my key over here, and the value is going to be Jatin. Then you're going to have the next one, which is going to be, what is this? Raj. Then you have the next index, which is going to have. Okay. So you have this, this, and this. These are keys. Jatin, Raj, Ritu, they are value. Now it also has something which is the length attribute. Okay. So this length which you see now is over here, and it's technically dynamic. So we know that the length is 3. So 3 is going to be stored over here. There are other properties also, but for now, you just remember that these are the things which we have. So whenever you're using in, it always talks about key. Okay. In our array 0, 1, 2, which is the index, technically is the key over there. The value is Chuck. Okay, Raj and Ritu and all. So when you're using of, you get the value. When you use the in, you get the key. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Now, sometimes people say that, Jatin, the index is in double quotes. The index is in double quotes now. So can I give the index in string format and expect the output? Let's see on that. Console.log names square bracket in double quotes 0. So now if you try to do something like this in Java, it would have given you compilation error, because in Java the indexes are always numbers, numeric values. So over here I am giving your 0 in double quotes. So if I'm going to click on the play button, let's clear the stack one more time. What happened to this? Yeah. So you will notice that after printing all the keys, it is giving me the value again. So even though I am giving the index in the string format, it is still going to work. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Quickly do this thing at your end, guys. Quickly do this thing at your end. Alright. Is this part clear to everyone? Perfect. Alright. Now, what we will be doing, we will be creating a new file, because this file is pretty much sorted now. Let's create a new one. And I'm going to call this as demo2.js. And in demo2.js, now we'll just look at more other variations on the creating an array. Okay. So I'm going to have this let marks. Okay. And I'm going to use this arrays. Okay. Look carefully. It is an interface over here. Array dot off. Okay. And I can give over here, let's say 5. Let's give 3 over there. Okay. Marks array of 3. So over here, guys, if I'm gonna do console.log marks dot length, let's see what happens. Let's clear it off. Okay. Here you will notice that the length is 1. Length is 1. Now, let's do one more thing. I'm going to print what is there inside marks. You will notice that we have 3 popping up into picture. So, if I'm saying array of 3, so this 3 element what you see is going to be stored on the 0th index. This is the value. And I can give different values. 3, let's say 5, okay, 10, maybe something like that. So if I clear this thing, let's click on the play button. Now you will notice the length is 3 and the values which are there in this particular array is 3, 5, 10. So we're not going to call this as elements like how we say it in your Java, right? What we would be saying it over here is that 3, 5, 10 is the value and the key over here is going to be 0, 1 and 2. Why? Because array is an object. It is going to look something like this in the memory. Okay, this is the 0th key. What is the value over here? 3. Then we are going to have 1 key. What is the value over here? 5. Then we have the next key. What is the value over here? 10. Then we have the length attribute, supposed to give comma, and it is going to have the value 3. I hope this part makes sense. So if I'm going to bring my cursor over here, you see that this is a number array. It's a number array, right? Because all the values 3, 5, 10, they are technically numbers. Are you getting the point over here? Quickly do this particular stuff. This is another way of creating an array of. And whatever the stuff you give over here, 3, 5, 10, they are all going to be the values which will be stored in the array. Okay, I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Let's go ahead with the next one. Console.log. Okay, let's put this hyphen dot repeat. Okay, we'll say repeat it 20 times. We create another array. Let data equal to array dot fro. There's a method fro. Okay, and okay, over here I'm gonna give, let's say, 5. Okay, 5. So let's see what happens. Console.log data. Let's clear this thing. So you will notice that technically it has created an array. We'll create another array. So I'm going to say let data equal to new array. Okay, and you can give the length over here. So I'm going to give 5 over. So now if I do console.log data, observe carefully what is going to be there inside data. So if I say this, let's clear this, I click on the play button, you will notice there are 5 empty items. So when you are creating an array with the new array constructor, what is technically happening over here is that it is technically going to give you 5 allocations. Okay, there is going to be 5 keys over there. That is the first thing. 5 is the length of that array, and over there they are all empty. They don't have anything inside it. So over here, if I just print the respective index, this is 0. Let's keep on putting it on the next line. This is going to be the first index, second index, third index, okay, and the fourth index. You will notice all of them will be undefined. All of them will be undefined. You have been given the memory. You have been given the memory. Okay, these keys are there, that's for sure. But the thing over here is, they all are empty. They are all undefined. I hope this part makes sense. Just to reiterate this particular stuff, how it is going to look in the memory. This is going to be my array object. You are going to have the 0th index, undefined. 1, undefined. 2, undefined. Okay. Same for 3, same for 4. They all are going to be undefined. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Okay. But the length over here, my dear friends, it is going to be 5. Okay. Length is going to be 5. So just to show you the length also, if I just copy this and I do data dot length. Okay. Click on the play button. Length is 5. I hope this part makes sense. Okay. So when you're using the new array, what is going to happen? It is going to be creating an array of the required size. The length is going to be 5 over here. Okay. You are going to have all these indexes, but they will be undefined. Okay. One more interesting thing, which we have definitely seen on the array part, is ki Baba, if you are going to give an index which doesn't exist, so there is no key of 104, right? If the key is not there, what will be the output over here? The output is going to be undefined.
Okay, the output over here is going to be undefined. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. We have seen it in the last class also. Ki Baba, it is not going to give you array index out of bound exception. Okay, it is going to give me undefined for a index which is not there in that array, because these indexes are basically key. The key itself is not there, so it is undefined. Make sense? Perfect. Quickly do this particular stuff at your end. Okay, I'm just going to bring this guy a little bit down so you can see the entire piece of code. This is the whole stuff. Okay, quickly do it at your end. I hope you guys have done this thing. Now, one more thing. One more way using which you can create an array is the array from. Right? Now, array from is only going to work on a string. Okay. So, let's say I want to have what should I call this? Demo. Okay. And I'm going to use this array interface and I'm going to say array.from. And the thing over here now is you are supposed to give over here a string. Okay. I'm going to give over here Jatin. So now if I just do console.log demo. Here's the stack. Click on the play button. I'm going to bring this guy up. You will notice the demo array which got created over here now is technically having all these things, Jatin. So the individual characters of this particular string is going to be stored on the respective indexes. Okay. So over here, this particular array is going to look something like this in the memory. Okay. This is going to be the 0th key. Over here, you have J. Now, this is not going to be in single quote. It is not a character. This is still a string. Okay. So, if I'm going to bring my cursor to demo also, it is technically a string array. I'm getting the point. It's a string array over here. Because in JavaScript, we don't have the concept of characters. Then, this is going to be 1. That is going to have T. The next T is going to be 2. Okay. The value is going to be T. Next is going to be I. Okay. Next key is going to be N. Perfect. After that, you will be having the length attribute and its value is going to be 5. Is this part making sense to everyone? Perfect. Great. Now, let's delete this thing. The next part over here that we have over here, guys, is we have seen all these things over here and I hope you guys have practiced it off. When we are talking about this from method, right? From method is only going to work on a string. What is going to happen if I give, let's say, 10 or 20, something like this? What is going to happen? Let's clear this. Let's click on the play button. You see, first I'm getting an error itself directly that I cannot have, numbers over here popping up. So even if I pass single val, click on the play button. It is an empty array. It's not going to create itself over there. Okay. It's not going to create it off over here. This from method is definitely going to work only for the string part. Okay. So if you're going to have a string and to that particular string, you want to have those individual characters stored inside another array, you can do that with the help of this from method. Now, this is the closest that you can get from the Java part. You have that string class, the string.to character array. Okay. We have the string class in Java. And over there, we have the 2 character array method. Right. So, whatever the stuff which is there inside the string, it is going to be converted into a character array. We're going to get the individual characters. But you don't get the individual characters kind of stuff. The character concept itself is not there in your JavaScript. The single characters are also going to be treated as a string itself. Is this part making sense for you? So that's it. That's it for today's class, Rex. We'll wrap it up over here. We will be having more classes on the topic of array. And in the next class, guys,
I will walk you through some of the important methods which are there in your arrays. Okay, that you should be knowing. So next class is again going to be a hands-on one. Please make sure that when you're practicing the array topic, you're writing the code along with me. So that's it. We'll wrap it up over here for today. Thanks so much for your time. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to mark your attendance. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Before we continue, guys, if you really like this particular video, you should definitely check out the YouTube Tech with Jatin membership. For a price less than 100 rupees a month, you're going to find detailed videos like this. Along with that, you're going to find exclusive contents that you're not going to find anywhere over the internet. And it is going to really help you out for preparing for your SDET interviews. So I hope you joined the YouTube Tech with Jatin membership. I'm going to see you guys over there. Let's continue with this lecture.
Welcome back to the class, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So we were talking about arrays, and when we are seeing arrays in JavaScript, they are very different compared to that of your Java. In Java, we were having continuous memory blocks, right? So, and you were having those numeric indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in JavaScript, array is treated as an object. So it is basically an object, and in that particular object, you're going to have key value, the length property, and all those things. So the indexes are basically the keys in the string format. The values can be any. Okay. Now, in today's class, we will be focusing on some of the important array methods. Okay. So there are many methods. Okay. And the thing over here is, instead of just taking all these methods in one go, we will break it off so that it is easy for you to even digest and understand these things. So what I will be doing now, we will be focusing on a few of the basic methods for today. We will practice it. Okay. There is going to be a two-way things that is going to happen. I'm going to go through the iPad notes. Then I'm going to come back and execute the code for you guys. You are supposed to do it along with me. Okay. So if you want, you have your tea, coffee ready, and then we will start. Okay. I hope you guys are ready now. Now, the thing over here, guys, is the first method that we will be focusing on is going to be something which is called as push method. Okay. Push method. What do you mean by push method over here? So look carefully. Over here, I have an array which basically has two values, apple and banana. Apple, there is going to be the 0th index, or the key is 0, and banana is on the first index. Perfect. Now, if I am going to say ki baba, I will be pushing something in this particular array. Okay. Over here, I'm going to add cherry and date. So push basically means that you're performing an addition. You're trying to add something in that particular array object. So if you decide to do that, if you try to do a push method, then dear friends, your array is going to have apple, banana, cherry and date. So whenever you're doing a push is always going to add the values at the end. So if this was my array, after banana, cherry and date is going to get added. Now what exactly push returns? This is very important. Whenever you are going to add any element into the array, it basically returns the new length. So over here, push is going to return us something. It is going to return us the length. Okay. So if you do a console.log cart, technically you're going to get all these elements. But if you do the length is technically going to be 4, the new length that you're going to get. Push always returns the new length and it does not return the array. This is technically a common interview question. Okay. What exactly the push method in an array returns? It returns the length of that particular array, the new length of that particular array. I hope this particular part is clear to everyone. Perfect. Now, what we will be doing is we will be first practicing this particular stuff in our VS Code. So, I want you guys to quickly launch your VS Code. And in your array 101 folder, let me just close these chaps. Let's clear this stack. Let's bring this guy down. We are going to right click. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this as array methods practice.js. Kaboom. All right. Now the first thing, I want to create an array. Okay. Let's create an array of names. So I'm going to say let names, okay, equal to, and I'm going to say Katrina, okay, Anya, Deepika, okay, and yeah, these are fine over there. So we got all these things over here, Katrina, Alia, Deepika, okay. And if I'm going to bring my mouse to the names, you will see that it is a string array. Perfect. Now, what I want to see is the length of that particular array. How you're going to do that? You're going to do console.log names.net. Perfect. I want to save this. Click on the play button. I'm going to bring this guy a little bit up. Come on. Up, up. Okay. The length is 3. I want to also see the elements. We can remove this. Save it. Click on the play button. This is the element Katrina, Alia, Deepika. Alright. And these are on technically on the various indexes. Right? These are the values. The indexes are basically the keys. So the keys you can also give it in double quotes. If this is something that you try to do it in Java, it's gonna not work. I hope this part is clear to everyone. So over here, if you would double quotes 0, okay, because the keys are stored in the string format in your array object, okay, this particular stuff is still a valid statement and it's going to give us Katrina. Right? It works. Next thing, guys, what I want to do is I want to add something, because when you're looking at from the JavaScript array, in JavaScript array, I can grow the array. I can add new elements. Now, one more interesting thing before we add a new element. See, guys, this is on the 0th index. Katrina is on the 0th index. Let me write it down over here. Alia is on the 1st index. Deepika is on the 2nd index. So technically, there's a 3rd index right now. Tell me something that if I do console.log name square bracket in double quote 3, let's save this. Okay, clear this particular stack. And if I'm going to click on play button, okay, something might draw names. Okay, let's click on save, clear the stack, click on the play button. You will see there's a 3rd index. Okay, it's not giving me array index out of bound exception. It is giving me undefined. Okay, so if you're trying to access some index which is not there, a key which is not there inside your array object, is going to give you undefined. But now I want to add something inside this particular array. And how do you add? You are going to add it with the help of push method. With the help of push method. So I can say something like names dot push. Okay. It appends a new element to the end of an array. Read carefully. It appends a new element to the end of the array and returns the new length of that array. So push is going to return me something in number format. Okay. So this colon number, now get used to it. After colon, whatever you see is the data type. This is going to return me number type of a value over here. So over here, I'll say that I want to add over here Randeep. Alright, something like that I want to do it. And over here, I am going to get a value. So let's say this is going to be let, what should I call it? This is going to be the length of array. Length is by over here, length. Okay. And then I can do something like this. Console.log names. Okay. I'm going to save this. Clear the stack. Click on the pay button. You see the name getting appended over here. Now, if I try to do this, you know that on the 3rd index, we have the name. So after Katrina, it should be Ranveer, which is going to get printed. Can I do this? Let's see. If I'm going to say names, okay, this is going to be the probably the 4th index maybe. Okay. And over here, I want to give the value over here as, let's say, Jatin. Okay. And now, if I try to print the names when Jatin needed, let's see. Okay, it works. Okay, it works. What if, okay, we do, see, this is on the 0th index, 1st index, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Now, we know that the next index is going to be 5th, then it is going to be 6th, then it is going to be 7th, so on and so forth. We assume that this is going to be how the entries are going to be there. Now, we are definitely able to add the element like this also. If I say names and I give the respective index, the value is definitely getting stored over there. Okay. But I can also technically access any index. Okay. If the data is going to be there, it is going to give us the data, or it's going to give us undefined. Let's say that I do something like this. Names, square bracket, I write over here 7 equal to, let's say, Raj. Now, what I've done is, I have filled all these data. Then, on the 5th index and the 6th index, we are not filling anything. We are directly filling the data on the 7th index. So, Raj is going to get stored over here. Now, if we try to print this particular array, what will be the output? Katrina, Alia, Deepika, Ranveer, Jatin, they should get printed. What about these two chaps? Now, if you guys have studied with me properly, you know that this is going to be undefined. This is also going to be undefined. And then Raj is going to get printed on our console. Let's see. I'm just going to take this line, copy this, paste it, save it, clear the stack. Okay. And I'm going to click on the play button. And over here, you will notice that this is what I see. Katrina, Alia, Deepika, Ranveer, Jatin. There are 2 empty items. There are 2 empty items. Okay. And these 2 empty items basically means that they are having undefined inside it. Okay. It's going to have the value undefined. And then you have Raj. Makes sense? Are you getting the point over here? Perfect. Okay, I hope you guys have practiced it. Okay, if not, I'm going to bring this guy a little bit down. And I want you guys to do this thing first at your end. This is all about the push method and how exactly insertion works. See, you can store at any index. Okay. So, if there are going to be some indexes which you are not filling the data, it is going to give us like this, 2 empty items. So you need to understand that 2 empty items basically means that it is going to be undefined only. It's not going to have any data inside it. Okay. It's not going to keep on writing it undefined and all. Because then what is going to happen? Let's assume that you have a large array. Okay. And you are filling the data on the 0th index and then you're filling it something on the 1000 index. Okay. So the remaining part, it's not going to keep on writing undefined. So because it's going to give me a pretty big message then, right? The logs are going to be pretty big over here. So over here, it's just going to say that there are 2 empty spaces. Okay. I hope you guys have practiced it. If not, pause and quickly do this thing at your... Alright, I hope you have done this particular stuff. Now, just to show you one more stuff, guys. Let's say what I do is, I save this. I duplicate this part. I remove this. I want to create an array over here. Let's call this data. Okay. And data, to be honest, is going to be an empty part. There's nothing going to be inside this data array, right? This is empty array. That's what you have done. Okay. So it's an any empty array which we have over here. Now, if I just do a console.log, just to show you, I do data.length. Save this. What will be the length? 0. Length is going to be 0, na baba? Clear the stack. Length is 0 because nothing is there. Then what I do is, I say ki baba, I am going to store something on the 1000th, 1000 index.
Okay. And I'm going to say over here, it's going to store Jatin. Okay. Now, I have not filled any data from 0 to 999, right? Nothing has been filled. But if I do console.log now, and I try print data, okay, see, there are 1000 empty items. 1000 means what? 0 to 999, right? That is 1000 only, na? Because the counting starts from 0. And then on the 1000 index, okay, the 1000th index, we have Jatin getting stored. So it's not going to keep on writing undefined and all. But if you say ki Baba, I want to see what is going to be there on the 0th index, okay, it is going to tell as undefined. So this part basically means that all the data is undefined. Okay, if you're seeing the data, it means that it has some value over there. All right. So this is something that you should be aware of. Okay. Now, let's go back to our iPad also just to see some more things. The next method that we have now, guys, is the pop method. Okay. Is the pop method. Now, if push was appending, inserting the value inside the array, pop is going to do what? Remove it. Now, pop does not return the new length. It is going to remove that particular element and it is going to return the last element. Okay. Last element as it's going to remove, it will give us that particular element. So over here, let's say we have a stack 10, 20, 30 and I lose stack.pop. So over here, 30 is going to be there inside the stack. So the stack now is just going to have the remaining elements 10 and 20. Okay. And if you do the console.log, you're going to get the last element. This is very simple. Like, you know how exactly this thing works. All right. Now, if you are going to use push and pop, basically what you're doing, you're trying to create a stack. Because whenever you do push, push is always going to sit on top of the stack, on the top of that particular array. Because they are appending at the end. Pop means it is technically going to remove the last added element. Are you getting the point? Now, let's do that also. So let's right click over here and I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to call this particular file as pop function.js. All right. Let names equal to, let's say, Raj, Uday, okay, Saurabh, okay. And if I just do a console.log names, here's the stack, on the play button, we got Raj, Uday, and Saurabh. This is on the 0th index, Uday is on the 1st index, Saurabh is on the 2nd index. Now, what we decide to do, we decide to do names dot pop. Okay. So we are technically removing something. What will gonna be removed? Whatever was added at the last. The last item is going to be removed. Okay. So what was the last element that we have added? We have added Saurabh now. So Saurabh will be popped off. So over here, pop is going to remove the last item and it is going to return it. So it's going to give us that last item. So I'm going to create another variable called data and we are sorted. It's going to be just console.log. Let's call this names. Okay. If I'm going to click on the play button, you see Saurabh has been removed. But where is Saurabh? Saurabh is going to be inside the data variable, meaning you're going to get that value. Okay. You got the value over here. So if I'm going to click on the play button, you got the value of Saurabh. Okay. So whenever you're using push and pop, now you are making the array work like a stack. What is stack? Stack is a data structure that operates on dash process, LIFO process, right? When we are talking about a stack, stack is basically a data structure that works on LIFO process. Okay. So what is LIFO? LIFO basically is last in,
first out. Okay. If, let's say, I am creating an empty array, let's call that array. This is, let's say, x. Okay. So I say x equal to new array. Okay. You can create it like this. Don't give the size 0. So this is going to be an empty array. If you don't want, you want to create a normal empty array, do this. Finish. So we have an empty array now. Okay. I say x dot push. Okay. X dot push 10. So inside the array, 10 is going to be pushed. This is going to be on the 0th index. Then I say x dot push 20. So 20 is going to be pushed over here. This is going to be the first index. Then I say x dot push 30. So what is the last element which has been pushed over here? Okay, 30. So last in, first out. The moment you do x dot pop, which element will be removed? 10, 20, 30. What is the last element? 30. 30 is going to be removed. Are you getting the point? So with the help of push and pop, you are making an array work like a stack. If I do x dot pop again, what will be removed? 20 will be removed. So it's going to give me 20 over here. 20 will be removed over here. Okay? Are you getting the point? So I hope this particular part is clear to everyone. Now, most of you guys will be thinking, Jatin, what is going to happen if I keep on popping up the elements? Let's do that. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to copy these two lines. We'll paste it. So what I'm doing, I'm popping up the element and I'm printing the adding as well as the data var. So over here, Saurabh and Uday should be popped out. Okay? Look carefully. Uday is not defined. Let's save this. Let's click on the play button. Here you will notice Raj, Uday, Saurabh. Then Raj, Uday, Saurabh got popped off. Then we have Uday got popped off. Okay? And Raj is left. Okay? Now, I can just copy this. I can do it, let's say, multiple times. So at this particular state, Raj is going to be removed, right? Because only one element is left. So Raj is going to be removed over here. But what is going to happen for this chap over here? Let's clear this chap. Okay. Click on the play button. You will notice that it starts giving me undefined. Okay. So if there is no element which is left in the array and you're still trying to pop some element out of the array, what you're going to get? You're going to get undefined. Okay. Remember this particular stuff. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Perfect. That's all. Okay. This is what we have for push and pop. If you haven't practiced it, pause this particular video. Okay. Play around with the push and pop method. Okay. Now guys, let's move on to the next method, which is the shift method. See, with the help of push and pop, we were technically playing with the end of the array, right? We were either appending something at the end or we were removing the element from the end. But what if I want to remove the element from the start, meaning from the 0th index? That's where shift comes into picture. Okay. Shift is pretty simple. Over here, what shift is going to do? Shift is very much similar to that of your pop method. Okay, it's very much similar to your pop method. Pop was removing the element from end. Shift is going to remove the element from the start. You're going to get the first element. So it's not only removes but also returns the first element, or other elements are technically shifted towards the left. So over here we have T1, T2, T3 inside the array.
And if I just do q dot shift, because the reference over here is cubed, q dot shift, T1 is going to be removed from that particular array. Next is technically going to have T1 inside it. The array is now shifted and you are going to have T1 and T2 inside that particular array. So whenever you're talking about shift now, shift basically helps you work like a queue, right? Have you seen a queue? If you want to do a ticket counter and all, the person who is starting at the start of the queue is going to be the first who is going to get processed, or like is going to get will be able to buy the ticket. Okay. So the thing is, if I want to process the element which is at the start, I'm gonna use the shift method. Okay. Then we have something which is called as unshift also. Unshift is, as usual in shift, we were removing the item. In unshift, we will be adding the item at the start of the queue. So over here, if you want to add one or more than one elements to the start of the array, okay, it is going to be done with the help of unshift. Okay. Now unshift is very much similar to that of your push, because push was also returning me the new length of that particular array. Unshift is going to add the element and it is going to return us the new length of that particular array. So let's say we have an array which just has one entry which is old inside it. Then what you do is you are trying to use news.unshift breaking latest. Okay. Now, since I have told over here breaking latest needs to be added. So the order is going to be maintained. Breaking is going to be on the 0th index. Latest is going to come on the first index, and then the remaining elements, whatever was there inside that particular array. Okay. So over here, unshift is going to give me the length. The new length over here is going to be 3. Okay, because the old length is 1. Na? One element is only there in the array. You added 2 elements with the help of unshift. They were added at the start, and because of that, the length has become 3. Is this part making sense to everyone? Let's practice this particular step also. Okay, let's go to our VS Code. So what we'll do now, guys, is we'll just close all these files, and in the array 101, I'm going to quickly create a new file. Let's call this particular file as shift, okay, and unshift dot js. Now, let's first have an array. So I'm going to have let data equal to 10, 20, 30. So 10 is going to be on the 0th index, 20 is going to be in the first index, 30 is going to be on the second index. Now, what I want to do is I want to remove the first element. If you want to remove the first element, you will be using shifting, right? So with the help of shift method, I will be able to remove the first element from the array. See guys, you might be thinking that Jatin always repeats a lot of things again and again, because I think that if I am taking that particular effort and if I'm going to keep on repeating these things again and again to you guys, and you just listen to what I'm going to say, these things are going to stick with you throughout your entire career, your entire life. You will be able to remember all these particular functionalities pretty well. And that's what the whole premise of this entire SDET masterclass is. We all have so many things which are going on in our life that we somewhere down the lane keep on forgetting the stuff. You might have seen in the WhatsApp group also people say that Jatin, the exact same questions have been asked, okay, in the coding questions, whatever you have covered. So even if you do the logic building questions and you just watch these lectures on daily basis, I can give you in writing that you can easily put it off to like 100% salary hike. Okay. Changing job is not going to be a very difficult thing for you guys. Okay. You might have other problems, but I just want to make sure that one of your problem, that is your career problem, that gets sorted out with this thing. So please make sure, guys, even though the length of the lectures are going to be big, you might have a lot of things going on. You might not feel motivated to study. You don't want to practice it off. I do understand all those things, but just watch these lectures properly on daily basis. Make it a habit. Come on, you guys have a habit of checking your Instagram. You're watching a video on YouTube. You are going to overthink on a lot of things which are going to be kept on LinkedIn and all, but you don't want to study. Okay, give yourself some time. And the best way to live life now is to always improve yourself. Okay, because life is always going to be very brutal. Okay, always have a hobby. If you don't have a hobby, you try to do things that make you happy. For example, let's say you say that, Jatin, have a very busy schedule that I cannot have a hobby that I can take care of, I can do on a regular basis. Like typical hobbies, people say that um, learning to play guitar or reading a book, okay, traveling and all those things. Maybe we are so much occupied with our work that we cannot um, afford to have a hobby. But still, if you are able to do something that makes you happy, some people like to dress well, some people like to take care of themselves, these small, small things, even if that you are able to incorporate in your life, okay, it is going to be very, very useful for you, because you start feeling good about yourself. Okay. And when you start feeling good about yourself, automatically you'll start doing things, okay, that makes you a better person. Okay. Whether it is going to be your studies, your choices are going to be very different. Okay. So make sure, even if no one is watching, you feel like I love singing, I'm gonna sing the song or something, sing it off. When was the last time you actually sang the song? These days no one actually sing well, so like not even in the washroom. Okay. There's always this constant thoughts. You get up in the morning, the first thing that you do is you check your mobile phone. And even if that is not enough, people take the mobile phone in the washroom and, like they're going to start doom scrolling. They're going to keep on watching something or the other, as if they don't watch or read the news which is there on the internet, there is going to be a big apocalypse that is going to come in their life. Nothing is going to happen. Okay. No one is going to ask you, okay, what was the article that you read on the LinkedIn? There's like too much of information. Please don't get and stuck into that particular trap. If you ask me now, one thing that is really important for me is a slow life. Okay. I really like to have slow life. Okay. I'm not in a rush. You can see it from my lectures also. The thing over here is, if you prefer to have a slow life, now you get a slow life. And what do you mean by slow life? Slow life is like you are able to live life in a much more better way. Like you're able to experience thing in a better way. Okay. Japanese people do that a lot, and try to make sure that you spend time with people that make you happy. Okay. Do things that makes you a little bit happy and do it every single day. Okay. Learn to take care of yourself, like go for a walk. Okay. And somewhere down the lane, if you're sitting near a garden or something, just, feel the earth. Okay. Under your skin and all. That's just do that, because you'll start having altogether a different energy force in your life. Okay. So this is something which I also have started doing lately, and it has been a complete game changer for me. Okay, and whenever I'm with one-to-one calls with students, I tell the same stuff to do that. Learn to live slow life. Okay, it's going to help you stay healthy. It's going to help you value other people as well as value yourself. Okay, stay away from social media. Literally stay away from social media. There's nothing. Even if there are people, like they tell me, Jatin, every morning I get up and then I go to office and check LinkedIn and all, I get stressed. Arey mat dekho na, don't watch. What's there to see over there? Okay. Social media is the same like news channels now. Okay. You might have seen our mom, dad, like half the time they just keep on watching news. Is there any valuable stuff which is coming into picture over there? Nothing. Zero value. So what you do? You improve yourself. You focus on yourself. See, the world exists because of you. If you're not there in this particular world, there's no world itself. Are you getting the point? So this entire thing, okay, your world exists only because you are there. If you're not living your life, if you're not there, then this world does not exist. Okay? So make sure that you become your highest priority. Okay? Anyways, coming back to this particular stuff, shift method. Shift method is going to do what? Shift method is going to remove the first element from the array. Similar to that of your pop, pop returns the nullity. So over here, I'm just going to say data dot shift. Okay? And shift is going to give me what? Shift is going to give me the first element. Okay? F element. Console.log. Okay? Let's do data and console.log. Let's do F element. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I click on the play button. Right? Then what? Popped out. Okay. Next, we have the unshift. Unshift is technically going to do what? Unshift is going to add the array. Okay. At the top of the or at the start of the array. So over here we had unshift. Unshift is technically going to add the element at the start of the array. Okay. Over here, I'm going to say data dot unshift, and technically I'm going to give some numbers. Let's say 100, 200, 300. Okay. So these three elements will be added at the start. Now we have already popped out our 10. So over here, guys, the output is going to be 100, 200, 300, 20, 30. Okay. This is going to be your now the array over here, 20, 30. So before 20, 30, 100, 200, 300 will get added. And unshift is technically going to return me the new length of the array, similar to that of your push. Okay. So it's going to give me the let new length. Okay. Console.log new length. Just to show you the new length first. And console.log. What is this? Data only, no? Yeah. Perfect. Let's clear the stack. Still on the play button. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length is 5. 100, 200, 300. Right? That's what you were getting. Okay. So, this was told. Okay, did not give me any error because technically this was just the statement. Okay, it's an array, but it was not getting stored here. Okay. So, this is what it is. I hope this particular part makes sense to everyone. Can I go to the next method? Next method is also a very simple method, guys, which is includes method. All right, includes method. Includes method is going to do what? Include method is technically going to check whether a particular element is included in that array or not. Okay, so I'm going to say data dot includes. Okay, just to read this, determine whether an array includes a certain element, returning true or false as appropriate. So if the element includes, it's going to return me a boolean value true. If it is not there, it is going to return me false. Simple as that. So over here, I'm going to check whether -9 or -11 is there inside this particular array or not. Is -11 inside this particular array? No, it is not. So you know that result is going to have the value as false. So I'm going to simply do console.log result. Let's save this. Okay, let's clear the stack. Click on the play button and it spots. But if I just change it to, let's say, 200, save this, click on the play button, it's going to give me true. Are you getting the point? Perfect. So this is all about your includes method. All right. let's quickly go to the notes also. It's the same thing, whatever I said. It's a very simple thing over here. When we are talking about includes method, it returns true if the value exists. Okay, uses same value zero comparison. Okay, it's just going to use the zero value comparison over there, whether the value is there inside this particular array or not. Okay, so admin QA dev includes QA, so this is going to be true. Includes manager, this is false. Okay, so this is something that you need to remember about includes. But there is another method like index of includes treats not a number equal to not a number. Okay, so in your includes method, if you're going to have a not a number, okay, value which is stored, it's going to treat nan equal to nan. But if you remember in the data type topic, we know that not a number is a number, but not a number is not equal to not a number. So two nans are not equal. Okay, but in includes method, they treat it as same. Alright, then we have the index of method. Alright, so over here guys, we have something which is, it returns the first index of the value or -1 if not found. Come on, this is simple. Over here, if I do names index of Asha, it is going to return me the index. So Asha is going to be at the 0th index. That is what I am getting. Names index of Kabir. Names index of Kabir over here. It is giving me -1, meaning Kabir is not there. But look carefully. When I am saying name index of Asha, comma 1. What does this mean? Now over here guys, this one what you are passing is basically the start index. Now if you notice, Asha is available on the 0th index also, and Asha is available on the second index also, right? So over here, if I am giving names or index of Asha, it is going to always start from the 0th index. We found Asha on the 0th index, that's the reason the output was 0. But what if I want to find the second Asha? Then what I'm supposed to do? So over here, I am telling from where it is supposed to start the searching. So it's going to start from index 1. It is not going to start from 0th index. Because if it's going to start from the 0th index, you already have Asha over here. It's going to give 0 only. But if I want the second Asha over here, I am telling to start from the first index. And from here, it is going to do the searching. On the second index, you got Asha. So the output over here is 2. Right? The output over here is 2. I hope this particular part makes sense to everyone. Perfect. Let's practice the index of method for today, and then we'll technically pause for today over there. Okay? Now, over here, let's go back. In the array 101, I'm going to quickly create a new file. Let's call this index of demo.js. Okay? Something like that. Over here, let's quickly create this array, and we're gonna have something like Jatin. Okay, we can have Raj. We can have Uday. And the thing over here is, remember, right? You can use single quote, double quote, backward tilt, everything is going to work. Then again, I decide to give Jatin. Now, whenever you are using index of, you know you're going to technically get the index of that particular element. So I'm going to say names dot index of, I want to know the index of Jatin. Now you will notice that Jatin is technically available on the 0th index. So 0 got printed away. If I just copy this and I paste it over here, and I give over here, let's say I want to find the index of Katrina. Is Katrina there in this particular names array? No, it's not there. So I'm going to get -1. Okay. I want to get the index of Uday. So I just copy this. I paste it over here. Save this. Okay. You will see I'm getting the index over here as 2 because Uday is on the second index. 0, 1, 2. Perfect. But now I want the last Jatin, right? Because Jatin is technically appearing twice every time if I just say names.index of Jatin, it's going to give me the first occurrence. I don't want the first occurrence. I want the second occurrence over here. So over here, what I can tell is I can tell the from index. Okay, the from index. So I'm going to put from over here 1. So it's going to skip the 0th index. It's going to start from Raj, Uday, Jatin. 0, 1, 2, 3. The output of this is going to be 3. All right. So let's click on play button, scroll down, and you get 3. Okay. So that's it. This is your index of method. So I hope you guys have understood all the topics that we have covered today. Okay. We did a lot of methods over here just to revisit all the things that whatever we have covered today. We did push, then we did pop, then we did shift, unshift, includes, and index of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 methods for today. Okay. So that's it for today's class. We will again continue with some of more interesting array methods. Okay. Do let me know in the discussion section whether you're really understanding this entire arrays topic. If there is anything that you did not understand, you know where to reach out to me. Don't forget to mark your fitness. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the class, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So in today's class also, we will be focusing on some of the important methods in your array. And in today's class, I'll be focusing on 3 methods. The 3 methods are very much self-explanatory. You have join. What join is going to do? Join is technically going to join all the elements in your array. Then you have reverse. What is reverse going to do? A reverse is going to just reverse all the elements in your array. And the third one which we have is sort. Tell me what sort is going to do. Sort is also going to do the sorting of all the elements in an array, but it does in a very different way. So that is something that we'll be focusing in today's class. It's a very simple class. In fact, it's going to be a very short class. We're going to quickly do that part. Now, the first thing over here, guys, is we just go to the notes quickly. Okay. And we'll just understand how exactly your join works. Now, guys, when we are talking about join, join is going to join all the elements in a single string. So the final output of a join method is technically going to be a string, and you are supposed to provide a separator. Okay. So let's say, guys, I have an array over here. Okay, let me just zoom in so you guys can see it properly. I have home, Jatin, and SDET. Home is available on the 0th index, Jatin is on the 1st index, and SDET is going to be on the 2nd index. So if you decide to say path.join, join is going to give me final output as string only now. And here I'm giving my separator. Okay. So the output over here is going to be a string which looks like this. Home /Jatin /SDET. So all the elements are joined together with the help of separator. The separator over here is a /. Now this separator can be anything. Whatever symbol you want. You want to give iterate, give iterate. You want to give percentage, give percentage. So over here, again, a different example. Over here, I'm using this less than sign over here. Sorry, greater than sign over here. So over here, path.join, this particular operator. So the output is going to be home for this symbol, Jatin. Okay. And this is tick. Perfect. So this is what it is. It's a very simple stuff. So let's quickly practice this stuff also. So let's go to the array 101 folder, and inside that array 101 folder, I am going to create a file. Let's call this as join reverse sort.js, something like that. So let's quickly create an array. This is going to be data, and over here I can give any value 10, okay, 20, 30. Now when you say data.join and you give over here, drop here separator, something like what should I give? Percentage. Okay. So it's going to join 10, 20, 30, and between them it's going to be a percentage sign. So join returns me string. After colon, you should look at what is written over here. After colon, it is string. So you're going to get string over here. Okay. So this is going to be a let result. Okay. And then I can simply say console.log result see this, click on the play button, voila. Simple, pretty straightforward, right? Now the next one which we have is reverse. Okay, we have this particular array itself, no? 10, 20, 30. Okay, I want to reverse it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do data dot reverse. Now this is something which is very important. You need to know that. If I'm going to bring my cursor over here, it reverses the elements in the array in place. The method mutates the array and returns the reference to the same array. So what it is trying to say over here now, ki baba, whatever this array is, okay, 10, 20, 30, it is going to reverse it. So the same array, the elements are going to be replaced. It is going to be 30. It is going to be 20. It is going to be 10 here. All right. Reverse is going to happen of the same array. All the elements are going to change their position. It's not going to create a new array. Okay. So over here, the original array gets modified. Mutation is going to happen of the original array. So what it returns back is just the reference of that same array. So over here, I can have, let's say, let data who come into picture. Now, if I just do this, console.log data2, if I'm going to click on the play button, you see it reverses it off. Okay. Now, let's copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. This is going to be data. Okay. Let's clear the stack. Let's bring this guy up. Let's click on the play button and observe carefully. Initially, data was having 10, 20, 30 only. This array itself is getting reversed over there. So I'm getting the reference back. So that reference, I'm storing it in data2. Now data2 and data technically are pointing to the same array. This is the same array over here. Okay. So technically what happens is whenever you are doing a reverse, okay, whenever you decide to do a reverse, reverse is going to change the original array itself. Modification happens over here. This becomes 30, this becomes 10, this becomes, this becomes 20, this becomes 10. All right. So no new array is going to get created. Modification happens. Okay. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Quickly do this thing. Now, let's say, ki baba, I don't want to reverse the original array. I don't want to reverse the original array. So, how to do that? Okay. So, for that, we have something which is called as a spread operator. So, what we will be doing now? We will be creating a copy of this data array that we have. How to do that? Data. Before that, you put 3 dots. Okay. This has created a copy of that stuff. Okay. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do reverse and I'm going to store it. Okay. Inside another variable. Okay. I'm going to store it inside another variable. So I'm just going to comment this chap for a moment because we don't want to change anything. Okay. Or let's do one thing. I'm going to create another array. Let names. Okay. Equal to Raj, Uday, Deepak. All right. And we're going to use the spread off operator and I'm going to paste it. Okay. So what is this? This technically creates a shallow copy. Okay. This technically creates a shallow copy for us. And to that particular shallow copy, we are performing a reverse. So now the original names array is going to remain same. Raj, Uday and Deepak's position is not going to change. Okay. In fact, a shallow copy will get created over here. This 3 dots which you see is basically the spread operator. It uses that shallow copy and reverses it. Okay. Now X, which is my another reference, this should have Deepak, okay, Uday and Raj. So now if I just do console.log X and console.log
let's say deems. Okay. So if I save this, we have this part. Let's click on the play button. Observe carefully. This is where the reversal is happening because first I'm printing X, Deepak, Uday, Raj. And then we have the original names array which is remaining intact. Okay. So over here, if you don't want to mutate, if you don't want to modify the original array and you just want to technically create a new array with the reverse data, you can do it with the help of spread operator. Now, what exactly is this whole spread operator? What we are doing over the shallow copy and all those things? See, let me just create a new file over here and I'm going to call this as demo4.js. Suppose I have an array. Let's call this names itself. And over here, I am going to have relay Deepak. Okay. Let's say Jatin, something out here. Now, let's assume I want to create a copy. How do you create a copy of this particular array? Now, some of you guys will say that, Array Jatin, we can do something like this. Na? Let backup equal to names. No. What we have done over here with this chap is, we have that array over here. Okay. This is Uday. This is Deepak. This is Raj. 0, 1, 2. Previously, names was my reference, which was pointing to this particular array. When you did backup equal to names, technically, you have created a reference which is pointing to the original array. Copy means I want to have another copy of this particular array. Okay. So the original array remains intact and I can perform the operation on this new array. Okay. I could have done something like this. I would have created a for loop for let index equal to 0. Index is going to be less than names dot length. Okay. And index plus plus. You know this particular stuff. And I would have that backup ready. Okay. And I would have written something like this. Backup. Okay. Will be first set empty array. We'll first have an empty array where. So I'm going to say backup of index equal to names square bracket index. Okay. So whatever the value which is there in the respective index in the names array, I'm going to give it to the backup array. And now, okay, we technically should have a new copy. Okay. So this is a different copy. Okay. And over here, this is the original array that we have. Are you getting the point over here? Okay. So we have created two different arrays now. This is what you call as creating a copy. Now what I've done over here is this entire for loop and all technically requires a lot of effort in writing and all. Nah? If you just want to create a quick copy, you can do with the help of spread operator. You put 3 dots, give names. This is technically going to create that shallow copy. To that shallow copy, you're technically performing a reverse. Okay. Reverse technically gives me the reference back, right? It returns the reference of the same array. That reference, we are storing it on X. Okay. So with this, there are technically two arrays which are getting deleted. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. So what reverse is going to do? It is going to reverse the elements in the array, but it does a mutation. Okay. The original array gets reversed. It is not going to create a separate array. If you want to keep the original array intact and you want to technically mutate a copy of that particular array, you need to use the spread of operator. And even if this spread operator you're not using, it's better you can try with the for loop also. But just to reduce the number of lines, we can go with this chart. Okay. Now coming back to this particular document also, over here is written reverse the array in place. In place means the same array, whatever you have, this is what is going to get replaced and it is going to return it. It is going to return that particular reference. It is technically going to mutate the original array itself. Reverse always mutates the original array. This is something which you need to remember. So over here,
order itself, this array itself is getting reversed. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 coming into picture. But the most important point you need to remember, for non-mutating reverse, you don't want to modify the original array. You want to technically reverse a copy of that particular array, then use the spread operator. And on that particular spread operator, you do the reverse. Reverse also returns basically the reference of this array itself, and you can then have your own reference created. Makes sense to everyone? Perfect. I hope you guys have practiced this particular stuff at your end. Now, let's go to the next method for today, which is sort method. Last method for now. Now, sort again is going to sort the data in place. Okay. The original array itself is going to get sorted. Now, sorting is going to happen on the basis of lexicographically. Okay. Sorting is going to be performed lexicographically. What do you mean by lexicographically? Lexicographically means that the data is going to be kind of sorted like in a dictionary. Okay. The Oxford dictionary that you have now. Or used to have those yellow pages. Okay. The numbers and the data is technically stored in lexicographically order. So over here, what does lexicographically means? Is, let's say you have 10, 1, 21, 2, 100. If I say that go and sort this particular chap, the output is not going to be in the ascending order of the number system. No. Output is going to be 1. After 1, we are going to have 1, 0. Then you're going to have 100. For example, all your words which start with A, okay, they are going to be kept first now. First A, then A, triple A. If any word starts with that, then you're going to have A, B, okay, then you're going to have A, B, B, then A, B, B, C. This is how it goes, right? Lexicographically, it does it off over there. So over here also it does the same stuff. First, all the series of 1 is going to be kept. 1, 1, 0, 100. Then it is going to give 2 and then 21. Okay. So when you do nums.sort, it is going to do it lexicographically and this is going to be the output. Okay. But if you want to sort it in ascending order, just like how you do it on your number system and all, then you are supposed to use this. Okay, we're supposed to use this. Let's try to see how exactly all these pins work. Back to our screen over here. Now, over here, let's close this. Let's say I am going to have again a data, something like that. And have I used the word data? I have used data over here. Let's say data, number data. Okay, 1, 2, 10, 21, 100, right? Now, if I do number data dot sort, okay, it is again in place, meaning the original array is going to get sorted. Okay, I keep it like this, and then I do console.log number data. I'm going to save this. Let's clear this chart, save it, click on the play button. Observe carefully, the output is 1, 10, 100, 2, 21. The original array itself got sorted away. Again, some of you guys will say that, "Array Jatin, no, I don't want to sort the original array. I want to sort a copy of that. Tell me how you're going to do that." Simple. You are going to first, okay, use the spread operator. Let me just comment this. Square bracket, 3 dots, number data, okay, dot sort, all right, and this is going to be number data copy, and then I'm going to say console.log number data copy. Okay, and I can print the original one also for you. Copy this, paste it, save it, clear the stack, bring this guy up, click on the P button. This is the original one. This is the sorted one. The sorting is done by lexicographically. Now, you say, ki, Baba, no. I want to sort it as in the ascending order. Then what? So over there was a formula which was written. Na? So I'll explain you how it works. So over here, let me just comment these three things. Over here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this number data dot sort. Okay. Now over here we can perform, or we can technically pass a compare functions. Now they have used an arrow operator. Okay. But in fact, they have written the code also over here. But what is going to happen now? Whenever this sort method is called, this sort method technically takes only two numbers at a time. Okay. It is only going to take two numbers at a time, and it is going to sort those two things. Okay. So let's say we have 11 and 2. 11 is going to be given to A, 2 is going to be given to B. So 11 minus 2, that is a positive number. 11 minus 2 is what? 9. Perfect. So it basically means, since this thing is a positive number, since the calculation of A minus B is a positive number, it means A is a bigger number and B is a smaller number. Okay, A is a bigger number, B is a smaller number. So you are supposed to change the position. It is going to be 211 then. Are you getting the point? So over here, we can do the same stuff. I just need to give this particular data. Now you can use the arrow operator, or you can technically use your anonymous function. So anonymous function is what? Something I'll be using first. I'm going to give A comma B just to make you guys comfortable with that before we enter into the function word. Anonymous function is a function which does not require a name. If I give over here ABC, then you are saying that the function is having the name ABC, which technically takes two parameters A and B. But over here, of anonymous means I don't know the name. You know, we say that I got an anonymous call, or I got an anonymous friend request, something like that you get off. So anonymous basically means you don't know who is calling or who is this person. So I don't know who is this function because the function does not have a name, so it becomes an anonymous function. This function is going to have a body, and over here I'm going to return A minus B. Okay, that's it, done. Okay, so now if I just clear this stuff and I do console.log number data, that's it. Okay, let's clear this stack first. Let's click on the play button, save it. Okay, so now everything is sorted, okay, in the ascending order 1, 2, 10, 20, 100. Perfect. So now just to explain you one more time how it works. Whenever we are talking about sorting, now sorting is going to be done of two numbers, okay, or two elements at a time. What are the values in the array? We have 1, 2, 10, 21, 100. Perfect. So first, 1 and 2 is going to be taken. A is 1, B is 2. Return A minus B, 1 minus 2, okay, which is minus 1. Since it is negative, it basically means over here, ki Baba, that the position is correct. Okay, it's a negative number. Now you don't need to do any swapping over here. Okay, the position does not need to be changed because 1 and 2 is correct only. In fact, the data itself is sorted over here right now. So let me just change it for a moment. We will put 21 over here and 10 over here. Okay. Now this part is done. So these two numbers have been taken care. Then it is going to take care of 2 and 21. Okay. 2 and 21. So A is going to get 2 and B is going to get 21. Okay. 2 minus 21. It's a negative number. Minus 90. If the result is a negative number, meaning A and B ka position is correct. If the result is a negative number, it means A and B position is correct, meaning 2 and 21 is in the correct order because they are in the ascending order right now. Perfect. Next, it is not going to change any of these sticks. Then it is going to take 21 and 10. So, over here, A is going to be 21, B is going to be 10. 21 minus 10. This time, we are getting a positive number. Positive number means ki baba A is bigger and B is smaller. So over here it is going to change the position. So this is going to become 10, this is going to become 21. And for 21 and 100, you know what is going to be the stuff? It is going to be a negative number. Since it is a negative number, it basically means that the position is correct. So the final output is going to be 2, 10, 21, 100. Alright. This is how the sorting happens, and that's what this particular formula is doing. Whenever you do sorting, the sort method technically does the sorting of two elements at a time. Okay. That's the reason A and B is supposed to be passed. Acha. Now that we are using this anonymous function and all those things, right? This can be optimized by using the arrow operator. So instead of writing function A, B and then return A minus B and all, I can simply say over here A and B, arrow operator A minus B. Okay. So you just put that parameter wala stuff, A comma B. This is the body. Okay. And you just say A minus B. It is going to return. It is going to return this A minus B wala part. Okay. Are you getting the point over here? Perfect. So if I just clear this particular stuff, let me change the position 21 and 10 over here. Let's clear the stack. Let's bring this guy over here. 1, 2, 10. Over here it was 21. This is 10, 21, 100. Are you getting the point over here? Quickly do this particular stuff at your end, guys. Alright. I hope you have done this particular stuff. Now let's quickly go to the sort method also, just to read this particular stuff. Sort in place. Okay, sorting is also going to happen in place. Okay. Default is going to happen lexicographically. I hope everyone knows what exactly lexicographically means now. Not numerically. Okay, not via the number system. So if you want to do it numerically, you will be using this particular formula. Sometimes people will say, ki Baba, what if I want in the descending order? You need to do only one simple thing, guys, over here. You need to change the position of A and B. Over here, it was A minus B. You change it to B minus A. Save it. Done. That's it. If I'm going to clear this particular stuff, save this particular file, click on the play button. It's 100, 21, 10, 2, 1. It's in descending order. Alright, that's it. So that's it for this particular class, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have understood all the three methods. Now I'm going to see you guys in the next class. Don't forget to mark your attendance, and in case of any doubts and queries, you know where to reach out to me. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the class, guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. In today's class, we will be focusing on the next three methods from array. And the next three methods are going to be slice, splice, as well as it is going to be map. Okay, it is there in the document itself. Okay, we will first understand how exactly these methods work, then we will practice it on our VS Code.
Now observe carefully, guys. When you're talking about slice means what? Cutting. All right.
So over here, a slice is going to return a shallow copy. You know what exactly a shallow copy means, right? It is going to create a new array. It is going to create a new array, and it is going to technically slice the array from the start and the end. It is not going to mutate, meaning it is not going to modify the existing array, but whatever the range that you're giving, the start and the end, it is going to take that particular stuff and then it is going to create a new array. Okay, so observe carefully. We have an array over here with the values A, B, C, D, E. Now, when I say A dot slice 1 and 4, now over here, guys, this is 0 index, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. When I say 1 to 4, this is 1 na, and this is 4. So over here, guys, you will be getting B. It's going to start from the first index. You're going to get the second index also. You're going to get the third index. The last, whatever you're giving, is not included in the reach. It's not included in the reach. So over here, you will only get from the start, okay, and before the end. So the output is going to be BCD. So always remember the last, whatever the end you're giving is not included over here. Whatever is going to be there before the end, that is something which is going to be returned. Now, it also has a very interesting part, which is you can pass negative values. So over here, guys, let's say that I'm passing a negative value, which is -2. Okay. Now, when we are talking about passing a negative value, so this is technically your, what do you call, the coordinates range, right? So over here, this is 0, 0. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. All the numbers which are technically on the left-hand side, okay, are technically the, what do you call, they are technically the negative numbers, right? So if I'm going to give -2 now, so over here, it is going to start from here, okay? This is going to be there, this is going to be there. So from the end of the array, I'm going to get the last two numbers or last two values. So over here, the output is going to be DE. Now let's assume it was -3. So you would have got CBE. From the last, okay, it is going to start taking the values whenever you give a negative number over here. Okay. Now the thing over here, it's whenever you're using slicing, slicing returns an array itself. Okay, it returns an array, but the original array is going to remain unchanged. So it does not mutate the array. It does not modify the existing array. It always creates a new array. Okay, that's what slice is all about. So just remember, slice never mutates. A lot of time people are going to confuse it with splice. And to be honest, comparison between slice and splice is going to be a very interesting interview question. So we will understand splice also, but let's just focus on slice part for now. Okay. So what we will do now, we will go to our VS Code and we will practice small slice. So over here, guys, in the array 101 folder, I'm going to right click and I'm going to quickly create a new file. Let's call this as slice.js. And over here, I'm going to quickly create an array. Let's call this as names. And we're going to have names like Jatin, Anu, Rahul. Okay. Now, if I log this particular array, console.log needs, say this, click on the play button, you get the array printed over it. Now, what we want is, we want to just extract these two chaps. Okay, I just want whatever the value which is there on the 0th index and whatever the value which is there on the first index. Okay, I want to slice it. I want to remove it and technically store it in some other array. So how can I do that? You can use slice over here, names dot
slice. Okay? It returns a copy of a section of an array. Read this thing. It returns a copy of a section of an array for both start and end. A negative index can be used to indicate an offset from the end of the array. Okay? For example, -2 is going to refer to the second to the last element of the array. So the last two elements, I can access it with the help of a negative index. Start, end, and it is technically going to return me a string array because we are applying it on the names. Names is a string array. So if you're going to apply slice to this, you're going to get a string array itself in return. Now, I just want Jatin and Anu. So if I just want Jatin and Anu, what should be the range that I should be giving over here? We are supposed to start from 0. And if I'm going to put over here end if I'm going to put 1, okay. So what is going to happen? It is going to start from the 0th index, this guy. This is the first index. Here I'm giving 0 and 1. But this becomes the range, na? So if this is the entire stuff, 1 is never going to be included. So the output is going to be just Jatin. But I want Jatin and Anul. So I'm supposed to give from 0, 1, 2. So 2 is not going to be included and I'm going to get Jatin and Anul. Getting the what? So over here, I'll just change it to 0 and 2. And over here, it's going to give me a shallow copy, a different array over it. So I'm just going to call this as result. Then I'm going to say console after log result. I'm going to save this, clear the stack, click on the day button, shut that down. And the original array remains unchanged. Okay. Say this. The original array is unchanged over. Let me just save this better. Okay. This is the copy array from where these two values have been be got over here. So we got Jatin and Anand. If I want all three, I would have made it 0, 3. Okay. 3 is the end, meaning 3 items I needed. So 0, 1, 2, all 3, I'm going to get it off over there. Okay. Now, what is going to happen if I give 4 over here? Okay, let's see on that. It's not going to get any difference. Okay, even if you give an invalid count, we are saying that we need 4 items over there. It's still going to give 3 only because we don't have anything else. Undefined is not going to come into the picture. Okay. Next, over here, guys, let's say I decide to give a negative index, which is going to be -1. Now, when I'm talking about -1, I'm just going to get the last element. Okay. -1 means I'm going to get the last element. So over here, console.log result. Okay, you just get drop it. What if I'm going to give 0? Let's see. Okay, technically, you get the same array. So you get the whole array. Okay, so if you're going to give 0 over here to slice, you're going to get the entire array. Nothing is going to be changed. It's still going to be this all the elements. Okay, we are not going to do any slicing. This is important for your interview. If you are going to pass 0 instead of a negative number, you technically get the whole array copy. Okay, no slicing happening. Okay, so over here, we can get the values from the end only and only if you give negative numbers. -1 is the last element, -2 is technically the last 2 elements. So over here, I should be getting Anu and Rahul there. Are you getting the point over here? Perfect. Now let's go back and try to understand about splice. Okay. So over here, guys, when we are talking about splice technically is used for 3 operations, not 1. In slicing, we were technically getting a specific copy, okay, of those values in that array, and we were storing it inside a new array, right? Splicing to Baba works in a very different way itself.
splicing, you can do remove. You can remove a value from that array. You can replace something or you can insert something. So technically with the help of splice, you can perform three operations. The three operations are going to be you can remove something, replace something and insert something. Okay. Now over here, observe carefully. We have an array with the values A, B, C, D. And you know that this is going to be on the 0th index, first index, second index, third index. When I say arr.splice 1, 2, 1, 2. So over here, what it is going to do, it is going to remove the items. But how the items are going to be removed? Over here, we are giving the index, now 1 and 2. So you're going to start from 1, you're going to start from the first index, and you're supposed to remove the 2 items. So it's not the ending index. It basically means you start from 1, you start from the first index. 2 means 2 items should be removed. So when I say 1, 2, you start from the first index and you remove 2 items. So BC will be removed over here. Okay. So over here, whenever you're doing splice and you technically try to remove it, you are going to get those 2 items. Okay. And it is mutating the original array. So over here, if I'm going to print the array, I'm just going to get A and B because B and C are technically removed from that particular array. So splice mutates the OG array. Are you getting the point? The second one that comes into picture is insert. Now, over here, I'm giving 1, 0. Okay. 1, 0, X and Y. So over here, what we have given is you are supposed to insert, okay, on the first index, from the first index. Okay. Now deletion count is 0. This is the deletion count, the 2 items that should be removed, right? So this remove is 0. Okay. You're going to start from 1. Okay. And on the 1 index, you are not supposed to remove anything, but we are supposed to add 2 things. So when you say X and Y, this is the 0th index. From the first index, X and Y will be added and then your D is going to come into picture. So if the second count is 0 over here, meaning what? 0 items should be removed. If 0 items should be removed, it basically understand that you are trying to insert something over there. Are you getting the point over here? Next, over here 2, 1. Help me out over here with 2, 1. What exactly 2, 1 means? You're supposed to start from the second index. Start from second index. Okay. This is 0, 1, 2. Start from the second index. This is 1. We are supposed to replace only the 1 item. Okay. Not 2 items. 1 item. And what it should be updated with Z. So over here Y was there. This was the 1 item which was got removed and Z got added. Are you getting the point? So this is your splice. So technically with one method, I am able to perform 3 different operations. Remove, insert and replace. Okay. So let's practice this particular stuff also in VS Code so that you can understand this thing in a better way. Now the first thing guys, what we will be doing is we will be quickly creating a new file. I'm going to call this particular file as splice.js. Now let's first create an array. I want to call this numbers. We have a lot of numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Perfect. This is the first thing. Now, when we are talking about splice, with the help of splice, I can do 3 operations. What are the 3 operations? I can do remove, I can do insert, and we can also perform replace. Okay. Now, whenever you're talking about splicing, it is going to be mutable, meaning it is technically going to do mutation on the original array. Now I say numbers dot splice. Okay. And over here, first thing I am going to talk about the start number from where we are supposed to start. Let's say I want to remove 10 and 20. We are keeping it very simple. 10 and 20 is what we need to remove. So the start number is going to be what? From where we are supposed to start? We are supposed to start from the 0th index. Put 0 over here. And delete count, it is not talking about the end index. It is talking about how many numbers do you want to delete. I want to delete two numbers, 10 and 20. So what should I put over here? I should be putting over here 2. Now, splice is going to return that. So if I'm going to say let result over here, and then if I just rate result, click on the play button, 10 and 20 got removed. And you see, I'm getting an array back. Okay. So splice technically returns the array itself over here. Okay. So even if you decide to remove one number, okay, that particular number is going to be inside an array. Getting the point over here. Now, since it does mutation, the original array, okay, is definitely modified now. So, here you see 10, 20 got removed. Now, the numbers array has 30, 40 and 50 inside. Makes sense to everyone. Perfect. So, quickly practice this particular stuff at your end. Okay. Let's try to do one more variation. Let's say I want to delete 20, 30, 40. 20, 30, 40 needs to be deleted. So what should I put over here? We are supposed to start from which index? We are supposed to start from one index. And how many numbers do we want to delete? We want to delete 3. So the count over here is going to be 3. Done. Finish. 20, 30, 40 got removed. Now your array is going to have only your 10 and 50. 10 and 50 is going to be left in your original array. This is all about remove operation. Now, what we want to do? We want to do insertion. We want to add something inside this particular array. As of now, my array is technically going to have 10 and 50 inside it. Okay. So this is 0th index. This is 1 index. Right. This is your 0th index. This is your first index. Right. Now, what I want to do is, I want to add something, okay, on the 0th index. Okay. Insertion. So whatever is going to be there on the 10th index is going to move to the first index. 50 is going to move on the second index, so on and so forth. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to say numbers dot splice. Okay. You're going to start from 0. I don't want to delete anything, but I want to add over there 44. Simple. Done. Okay. Now at this particular stuff, okay, your splice is technically not going to give us anything, okay, because the thing is, it is going to give me an empty array because we are inserting something. So if I store this also inside an answer variable and I try to print the answer, okay, let's clear the stack. You will notice you get an empty array, okay, because we are not removing anything. Okay, we are starting from the 0th index. Okay, we are removing 0 items, but I've given 44. So on the 0th index, it is going to add 44. So if I just take the numbers and I print it off over here, just to bring this guy a little bit down so you can read it properly. Okay. 44 came on the 0th index, 10 came on the first index, 50 came. And you can give any numbers. I can give like 33, 11, 23. So this particular order is going to be maintained. 43, 33, 11, 23. It is going to be added from the 0th index. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, then 10 and 50 will come. Okay. So if I click on this, but I forgot to save. Perfect. 43, 33, 11, 23. 0 index, first index, second index, third index. There comes the 4th and 5th.
All right. Are you getting the point over here? This is insertion. This is insertion. Now what you want to do, you want to replace something. Na? Replace is simple. Okay. So over here, we will take the numbers only. This is the current position. So I just paste this guy over here. I'm going to say numbers dot splice. I'm going to start from 0, keeping it very simple. And then I want to replace one number. So only 44 is going to be replaced. Okay. And it should be replaced with what? It should be replaced with 100. Okay. If you are not giving this, if you are not going to give this, splice is going to remove 44. Just to show you that also. Let data. Okay. Console.log data. Okay. If I save this, 44 is going to be removed. Okay. And obviously, in your numbers array, 44 is going to be removed. 33 starts from 33, 11, 23, 10, 50. But I don't want to remove 44. 44, instead of 44, I want to keep some other value. What is the other value? I want to give 100 over there. None. So now, over here, you will notice that 44 is definitely removed out over here because splice is removing 44. Is removing 44. And 100 got added or replaced with that. Are you getting the point over here? So this is your splice. It's again a very simple thing, but because we perform a lot of operation, people find it confusing. Please make sure that you do this particular step at your end quickly. Pause this particular video, wrap this thing quickly at your end. I hope you guys have done this particular stuff, guys. Okay. Now, over here, let's go back to the notes. We have one method left for today, which is going to be the map method. Map, we have seen it somewhere. Where? In Postman. Okay. Map method is basically meant for transformation. Okay. Wherever you want to transform the data, okay, of your array, that time you are supposed to use map. Okay. Now, map is not going to mutate your original array. Observe carefully. Over here, what is written? It returns a new array, same length. Each element is going to be transformed by the call live. Meaning, whatever the operations you want to do on each of the elements, you can do that with the help of map method. Okay. So over here, let's say we have the elements 100, 200 and 30. Over here, we are using the arrow operator. Instead of arrow operator, you can use your anonymous function also. Okay. We are going to do both. Don't worry about it. But anonymous function which is there, we can use that. Price.map. One by one, I'm going to take all the prices. To those price, I'm going to multiply it by 1.18. Okay. And then, okay, that particular value is going to be stored in the with tags. So over here, the original price was 100. If you multiply it with 1.18, it becomes 118. 200 becomes 236. 300 becomes 354. So we are transforming all these values. Okay. And we are getting these new values which are stored inside another array, right? It's a with tags reference which is there. So the original array remains unchanged. It is not getting mutated. Are you getting the point? So if you want to perform any kind of an operations on all the values of the array, okay, that time you are supposed to use map. I used it in some of the tests in the Postman also, okay, where we wanted to convert the numbers, the data into lowercase, okay, all the data which are there in your response JSON array, we were converting it into lowercase or we were converting it into one single case so that your checking, okay, the equality was happening in a much more better way. Anyways, let's quickly wrap the map also. So over here, back to array 101, I'm going to quickly create a new file. I'm going to call this as map.js. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's create a names array. Over here, I'm going to have Jatin, Anu, okay, Rahul. Okay, we are going to have large. Now, if you notice, all these names are in lowercase. I want to convert all the names into uppercase. How can I do that? Apps. Okay. So over here, I would have written something like this: names.map. Now over here, you will notice that it requires a callback function. Now for now, understand ki baba, whenever you're talking about a callback function, it's a function which does not have a name. Just keep it very simple. Function, and this callback function, you are supposed to give all these parameters. Okay, one of the parameter is supposed to be passed. So I'm only going to pass the ID. Okay. Now what we want to do is a callback function. Okay, may or may not return a value, but we are going to return it. We're going to return value. Okay, dot uppercase. Okay, value dot uppercase. Now over here, map technically returns me another string array. Okay, so we are going to get another array over here, which I'm going to store it over here. Let result. Okay, now that's it. Console.log result, and this is going to be console.log names. We are printing both the stuff. Now, if I'm going to click on the play button, if I'm going to clear the stack, let's click on the play button better. So you will notice that result is getting printed first. Now, all the names which were in lowercase, they got converted into uppercase. All right. So this is what transformation is all about. This is what transformation is. I hope this particular part makes sense to everyone. Let's do it one more time. What we will do is we will create another array. Let's call this numbers. Here I have numbers like 10, 30, 44, okay, 55, something like that. And we want to technically divide all these numbers by 2, something like that. So I'm going to take numbers dot map. Okay. What you can do is you are technically going to just pass the value. Okay. You're going to use this arrow operator, and you're going to say value divided by 2. Okay. Value divided by 2. Now finish. That's all it is. Okay. And this is going to give me result numbers. Okay. Console.log result numbers. Console.log numbers. Okay. So this is where we are using the arrow operator. This whole huge piece of code, right? I hope by now you know that. Okay, I can remove this particular function. I can remove this curly bracket. Okay. And you can remove this return keyword also. And replace this with just an arrow. That's all. That's the whole stuff over here. Okay. This is the same stuff. Okay, this is also the same stuff. We have the value. We're gonna divide the value by it. Okay. So over here, I'm just gonna save it. Result numbers. Something went wrong. Number is not defined. Something went wrong over here. Let's clear the stack. Okay. So over here we have first we are updating this now. So 5, 15, 22, 27.5. So these numbers are divisible by 2. This is going to be 27.5 coming into picture. All right. And then we have the original array 10, 30, 44 and 55 left. Are you getting a point over here? I believe a lot of you guys might get a little bit confused with this arrow operator. So again, one more time, I'm just going to repeat this particular stuff for you. This is a map function. Map function basically requires, okay, a callback. So how do you create a callback? Over here, you're going to technically have a function with some name. Okay. So if I'm going to create a function with ABC name, it's telling me ki baba, you need to have value parameter, index parameter, array. So technically these 3 things I can pass. Okay. But I can even just pass one thing and it is still going to work. So I'm just passing value, index and array. I'm not going to pass. Then you're going to have a function. So a function what is also going to be there. You're going to return what? Return after you are performing an operation. So I can say something like this. Value should be multiplied by 2. Something like that. Okay. Now, over here, whenever you're talking about this callback function, a callback function does not require a need. Remove the need. Done. Finish. Anonymous function got created. Now the problem over here, is ki baba, the length of the code looks a little bit clumsy. This also can be reduced with the help of arrow operator. So one arrow operator says ki baba, you remove the function word. Nikal diya. Remove the return word. Removed it. Remove these curly brackets. Removed. And all you do over here is you put this arrow operator sign. Done. Finish. That's all. You don't need this semicolon also. Okay. And then I can put this guy over here. So technically with the help of arrow operator, all you're doing is you are reducing the length of code. The same thing that you did in Java with the help of lambda expressions. Okay. So now we are multiplying 10 into 2, 20, 30 into 2, 60, 44 into 2, 88, 55 into 2, 110. Done and tested. Okay. So I hope this particular part is clear to everyone. So in today's class, what we did, we focused on 3 methods. We saw slice, we saw splice, and we saw map. With the help of slice, what is going to happen? Slice technically is meant to remove certain, not remove, create a copy of a certain range of the elements which is there in the array. So when you're talking about slice 0 to, what is going to happen? I am going to start from the 0th index, okay, at 0, 1. So Jatin and Anu is what I am going to get over here, okay. 2 is, this Rahul is not going to be included, okay. So you can understand it from this way, ki you're going to start from 0 and you're going to take up to 2 elements. So we get Jatin and Anu, okay. Now over here, the thing is, when you are using slice, slice is not going to mutate the original array. So the original array remains the same. Okay. So if I want to clear this stack, click on the play button. Here you see, this is console.log names. Okay. We are doing slicing 0 to. So Jatin and Anu, we got 2 items inside an array. The original array remains same. I hope this part makes sense to you here. Of course, you can pass negative index. So when you're passing negative index, you're technically telling that I need the last 2 items. So -2 basically means give me the last 2 items. Are you getting the point? This is your slice. Slice does not mutate the original array. Then we saw splice. Splice can perform 3 operations: remove, insert, and replace. So when you're just passing the start is technically the index and till when, okay, till the count. So we are going to start from 20. This is the first index till 3 range. Okay, so 3 counts. These 3 numbers will be removed. So the result over here is going to have 20, 30, 40, of course, because it's going to store it inside an array, 20, 30, 40. And the original array is also going to get modified. So the original array is only going to have your 10 and 50 over here. Makes sense to everyone? Then with the help of splice, I can also insert something. So whenever you want to insert something, your remove count should be 0. Okay, this is basically the remove count. 3 over here is the remove count. 0 over here is the remove count. You're going to start from 0. You're supposed to start from 0. But I don't want to remove anything. So that's why 0 over here. 44, 33, 11, 23. So 44 is going to be on the 0th index. 33 on the first index. This is on second index. This is on third index. Then 10 and 50 is going to come into picture. And then you're going to have replace. For replace, okay, you just need to make sure that your remove count is going to be 1. Because let's assume I would remove only 1. Okay. Or you can put 2 also. It's not that definitely you just need to put 1. I can put 2 also. But then I'm supposed to give over here 2 numbers. So what is going to happen? We're going to start from 0 and we're going to remove technically 2 numbers. 44 and 33 is going to be removed and they will be replaced with 100 and 150. Are you getting this particular stuff? So over here you got 100 and 150. 44 and 33 got removed, 100 and 150 got added over here. This is splice. Original array is going to get modified. Then we saw map.
Map is technically meant only for transformation. If you're going to have an array and you want to technically modify all the values in that particular array, that time you can use map. Whenever you're using map, you're supposed to use a callback function. So either you can write that whole function block and all, or you can optimize your code with the help of arrow operator. I hope this part makes sense to everyone. Perfect. That's it. That's it for this particular class, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys in the next class. Don't forget to mark your attendance. In case of any doubts and queries, you know where to reach out to me. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.